Hello and welcome back to episode 9 of the PompeyCast. I'm once again joined with Dad, as I have been for the whole series so far. Today we're going to be talking about Dini's comments aimed towards him, Bayern possibly winning the Bundesliga already, Schalke have lost again, bit of Bundesliga talk from this week's fixtures, contact training possibly resuming, players in the Championship testing positive, we've got a League One vote happening, we're going to talk about that, more people testing positive in the Premier League, some news about Luton you may have heard about, but we'll start off with asking you how you are today, Dad. How are you?
Alright, you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay, I'm alright. Weather's back nice, obviously staying in the garden, it is nice and hot out here.
Nice.
But we're obviously, we don't like to start on a sad note, but we have to bring you the news that Christian Mbulu, I hope I pronounced that right, was found dead in his home in Preston this week. I'm not sure what he died of. I think you know, don't you? It was like heart failure or something, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, something to do with heart failure.
So our thoughts go out to all his family and friends who have lost, and the Morecambe obviously players and staff that have lost a teammate.
Yeah.
So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, mate. Yeah.
We'll now move on to something that was shocked me when I was reading about it, about the comments that some fans aimed at Troy Deeney about his young son, saying that they hope he gets coronavirus because Deeney said he wasn't going to play. Simply, that's just not good enough, is it?
No, it's disgusting. I don't know who these idiots are and who these people are that do send these sort of messages, but yeah, it's totally out of line, it's totally unacceptable, and I hope the police find them, or someone finds them, because it's not right at all. As we said in previous podcasts, I completely respect Troy Deeney's stance on this issue, and I think any parent would do the same thing.
Yeah, it's just shocking that someone's got to just ruin it for everyone and just say, oh yeah, we hope this, but Troy Deeney's definitely taken the right stance in my opinion. If he wants to not play, he doesn't have to play, you can't force him. But anyway, now we'll get onto the Bundesliga now, which obviously we've been watching, we've been predicting, they've been getting brilliant reviews, and we're going to talk about Bayern Munich. Obviously, I said in the predictions video, if they beat Dortmund, I think they've wrapped up the league.
Yeah,
I mean, it's only 7 points, but they only have 6 games left, I think it is. So, do you think they've won it?
Yeah, I think it'd be very hard for either Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, some of the Mönchengladbach, some of the teams behind them to catch them. I think that's not for a team of that calibre. I can't see anyone catching them now, especially after Blake says the result from midweek. I can't see it happening.
I honestly, I can't see them falling away. I can see Dortmund winning, but I can't see Bayern Munich losing 3 games now, or losing 2 and drawing.
I can't see that happening at all.
Even though they have got the DFB Pokal, which is the German FA Cup, if you don't know, basically, they've still got the semi-final and possibly the final of that. But either way, they're 7 points clear. But the funny thing I read about, which I don't know if you've seen, is it was a comparison. So it was Bayern Munich 7 points clear, title's done. Scotland, Celtic 13 points clear, title's done. England, Liverpool 25 points clear. Yeah, but they could still get caught. It's quite funny. People don't exactly want Liverpool to win it, do they?
Yeah, I think.
But we'll not talk about that, because obviously English football hasn't got a lot going on. And we'll talk about another team in Germany that are at the opposite end of the spectrum since restart, and that is Schalke. Now, I keep predicting them to bounce back. He keeps predicting them to lose, and he keeps getting the predictions right. So obviously Schalke have not had the best of restarts, have they? They've lost all 3 games since they've started again. What do you think of that?
To be fair, Schalke are quite a big club as well.
Yeah.
They've got a big stadium. They have been in the Champions League on numerous occasions. I remember they got to the semi-finals and played Manchester United. Obviously got beat by Manchester United in, I think it was 2011. I might be wrong with that, but it certainly was 2010-11. I think that was the year. So they've got pedigree. They've had some good players play in the past, and they probably shouldn't be in the position they're in for the size of the club. But sometimes, I don't know the full ins and outs of what's going on with the club and why they are in the position they are in, but it's they could be playing in a different league next year if the way they're carrying on.
Well, I think they're way ahead of that at the minute. They were chasing Europe when this all started. Now they're in no chance. I don't think they've got a chance of getting Europe now. But we'll move on from Germany. Obviously, not a lot happened over there. We predicted a couple of results. We'll get onto that in the predictions video that comes out tomorrow. But other than that, not a lot happened in Germany this weekend. But we'll go back over to England now, and we'll talk about contact training resuming as part of Project Restart, the next phase of it. What do you think of that coming back into play?
I think it was just a logical option to happen next. Obviously they had it with non-contact training to start off with. Now they're obviously going into contact training. This is like phase 2 of the plan. I do, as I've said before, I do think the Premier League will restart at some point. When that is, obviously, that is for probably government advice and things like that. But I think the amount of money that the revenues that involved in the Premier League, especially, it has to start, and I think it will start.
Yeah.
Probably within the next month, 3 to 4 weeks, I think the Premier League will be back. Obviously behind closed doors, but obviously this is just the next progressive move to get into that stage where games are played. Obviously, whether that's at neutral venues or teams own their own grounds, etc.
Yeah.
With no fans, we'll have to see. But yeah, I think that's just a logical step along.
But that obviously is with the news as well this week that 4 other Premier League players or staff, well, I'm not going to say it's a player or a staff because we don't know, but 4 other Premier League individuals have tested positive for coronavirus.
Yeah.
Which obviously, if you look at the bigger picture, there's over 1,000, there's thousands of people that work within clubs in the Premier League, and for 4 people to be infected with it out of that many is good in a way, because it's not a lot. Obviously it's not nice for anyone to have it,
No, of course.
but it's definitely showing that we're gradually getting there. So before there were loads of people that had it, now it's kind of, loads of people in football that had it anyway. Now it's kind of getting towards a point where not as many have it.
No, of course. I think the rates are coming down across the board. Death rates, infection rates, and obviously that's showing that in the test they're doing in the Premier League. So long may that continue. Obviously, we don't want anyone to get it. It's not a nice thing, but hopefully it will just keep coming down and down and down. So there isn't no one getting affected.
But we also had Elliot Bennett, captain of Blackburn, and 2 other Fulham players, because they tested all the Championship before they resume. Elliot Bennett tested positive as the captain of Blackburn, which once again shows that in the Championship there's more people involved, and there's still only 3 that have come out with it. So they don't know if they're hiding any people or they haven't come back positive yet or negative yet.
Yeah.
But so far there's only 3 out of however many that have been tested, which I think's good again, which shows that the Championship, because they want to get restarted. Every team wants to get that league restarted. So
I think if the Premier League's restarted, I think the Championship's got to be restarted really, because obviously you're going to have promotion, relegation. So that's the only basis to move forward. So yeah, like Blake said, it's good that there's this minimal amount of people that have tested positive, which is a good sign moving forward.
yeah, well, as we talk about just then the Championship possibly restarting, we'll move on to the vote that's taking place in League One, either this week or next. I can't exactly remember when it's happening, to see if we resume the season or we go off PPG and we just finish it now, which is points per game if you weren't sure. So obviously they've said 51% either side, that's what it is.
Yeah.
9 clubs at the minute have said, well, we want to play on. 11 have said, well, we want to stop, and 3 are still undecided. So this is going to be very, very close, because I think MK Dons hadn't come out yet. So if they come out and say, well, we want to play, then it gets to that point of like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I think it's a very precarious situation now in League One. Obviously, in terms of how much it's going to actually cost, obviously at teams at a lower level, I think we spoke about these sort of figures, £140,000–150,000 to test players. Don't forget, there's not getting tested once; they've got to be tested every 2 to 3 days. It's more. There's clubs that just can't afford that sort of money. So moving forward, we'll have to see. I can't see the season in League One being carry on playing, or they're going to start playing again. I just can't see that happening. Just simply for the financial implications it will have, especially on the smaller teams. Obviously, I understand that the bigger teams that are in and around the playoffs, or their argument's going to be, well, we've still got 9 games left. We could have gone on a run and we could have got automatic promotion, etc., etc. Completely agree with that, but sometimes you've got to just say, right, enough's enough. This is what's going to happen. And if it is, like you say, was it weighted points per game?
No, not weighted. Unweighted.
Unweighted points per game.
We'll be in the playoffs either way.
We'll be in the playoffs, but that's not. I'm not saying as a Pompey fan, but
As a fan of football.
as a fan of football, sometimes that might be the best way to go.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Well, obviously, as Pompey fans, we know what Pompey want to do. We want to vote to restart the season. Is what the club wants to do anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I still don't know what I want to do. Because obviously, I want to watch football and probably play it. But if it means that if we finish it now, we can start fresh next season. But we get in the playoffs anyway. Because I don't think we're good enough to go for Automatics, in my own opinion, at the minute. I think we're good enough for the playoffs, definitely. And if we're going to get them by points per game, I just take it.
I think we all just miss going to football, don't we?
Yeah, but I'd love to watch it on TV. But if we're going to get the playoffs anyway,
yeah,
we might as well just go. Okay, we'll have the playoffs.
Yeah, I think as a Portsmouth fan, I'll take
points per game.
If that was it, we got in the playoffs. We had to play Oxford or whoever, even if it was a one-off, two-legged thing behind closed doors, obviously, because it doesn't matter if it was a one-off game anyway, because there'd be no fans there anyway. So
apparently it's a one-off game.
Yes, so even if it was a one-off game,
really
like says, it's
however, apparently it's meant to be being played at Oxford's ground if we play them.
It doesn't matter, does it? I mean,
But Oxford only have 3 stands, and behind one of the stands, people can just park up and watch football.
Yeah,
that's going to be the problem if you play at Oxford's ground.
Yeah, we'll have to.
That's the only problem, that if it's played there.
Yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
They might have to put up a big script, but anyway, we don't know yet.
Yeah, that's for a topic for another discussion.
And we'll move on now. I think this could even be the last thing we have to talk about this week, because it's not been a very busy week for us.
No.
Is Nathan Jones back at Luton? Well, what do you think of Luton reappointing him after what they went through with him?
Well, he was doing a good job from when he was their manager, and obviously then he jumped ship to go and manage Stoke and
which backfired.
He did a pretty awful. I mean, I don't.
Well, he did an average job for what the club was at the time. I mean, he had a lot of money, but
he didn't do a very good job at Stoke. Let's be fair, but I think a lot of that's probably the fact that the club was in a free-fall situation anyway. So I don't think it was all his fault, to be honest. But obviously, I think Luton will probably be a League One team again next year, unless there's some sort of like miracle happens. But I can't see that happening. So they're probably going to be a League One team again next year. So can't dispute he did a good job when he was there. He did a good job for us.
He's probably they said on there he's the best manager in their history.
He got
well, at least the best manager in recent history.
Yeah.
Because they were in National League not long ago. I don't know if he was a manager in the National League, but he definitely brought them up from League 2 as champions.
Yes, so they went through National League, back to League 2, League 1, and now they've got the Championship.
Back-to-back promotions, wasn't it? Was it back-to-back? From League 1 to the Championship? That was their second in a row, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
I'm not sure, but I think they got back-to-back with him.
Yeah, so they obviously have climbed up the leagues, but I think the Championship certainly a step too far for a team.
And even though he didn't take them up, he got them there, let's be honest. He got them clear. And
I think the Championship's a step too far for a club like Luton. I mean, in my opinion, they're a small club. Don't have a very big ground. Don't have a lot of resources. Don't have massive income. Not massive on the commercial side either. So they're always going to struggle.
Well, they want to build a new ground, don't they? And that'll take all their money away from transfers.
Yeah, I think they have got planning permission for that. But
yeah, but that'll also take all their money away from transfer fees, so they can't bring players in to keep them there.
I don't even think they've got the support base there either.
Oh no.
That's my opinion.
But that's where this podcast is going to end, I think, because this week's not been the busiest of weeks of football.
We're doing the Bundesliga stuff at the moment as well, which is obviously stuff that's actually happening on a regular basis now.
Which is helpful.
But
as soon as football season's back and we're allowed to go again, we'll have 2 separate podcasts running. I thought we'd let you know. We'll have an all things football podcast, which is going to find a name soon. Let us know if you want to name it. And then we'll have this PompeyCast. We'll keep running, but just focused on League One and Pompey at the minute.
We want to get back to going and watch football, watching games, experiencing the atmosphere of match day experiences, following your club on a regular basis without having to talk about who's the season going to finish, isn't it going to finish,
and what's going to happen. Yes.
And what's going to happen.
But without further ado, that flag's going to fall down. But it doesn't matter. Down. How many likes have we got on this video?
Well, I think we have 20.
20 likes.
20 likes on this video.
Can we get 20 likes? And once again, what do we have to say thank you for? 250 subscribers. We absolutely smashed it. I wanted to do it by the end of the month. Yeah. We're now on 261 at the time of recording, which is I want to thank you all. We wanted to get 250 by this point, and we've got 11 more than that, which for this channel is good. Yeah. We want to hit 1,000 as soon as possible, really. But the next logical goal is 300 by the end of next month.
Agreed.
300 by the end of next month.
Yeah.
So can we hit 300 by the end of next month? If we get there, I'll be massively appreciated from all of you. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Out the Blues.
Out the Blues. Stay safe.